You set a money goal, you start strong, but halfway through, nothing is going according to plan.
Your wheels are spinning. You hit the gas, but you're really not going anywhere. Well, today we're going to give you a plan to give you some traction where you can actually meet your goal and arrive at your destination. If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where practical frugality meets real life.
If you have felt like you are setting financial goals, but you're not reaching any of them, it could be the way that you're setting the financial goals. It could be that you're looking too much at some numbers and not enough at some other numbers. So in this video, we're going to share with you ways that you can reach financial goals. And believe it or not, you don't even have to like numbers to make this method work for you.
Think about your goals in relation to two terms. And the two terms are lagging indicators and leading indicators. These are indicators that are actually used in business.
We're going to show you how to apply these indicators to financial goals that you might be setting. Lagging indicators are things that have already happened. They are the results. You can't change them. Let me give you some examples. You are spending $500 a month on eating out. That is something that has already happened. You have already eaten the food. Or let's just say that on impulse, you bought a new coffee table from Wayfair. You did it because you opened that email that came where Wayfair was telling you, oh, look, all the coffee tables are 40% off. But you chose to purchase the coffee table. So the lagging indicator is the fact that you now own a new coffee table, but it cost you $300 even on sale at Wayfair. Those are all lagging indicators. Now, here's what happens, especially in a tight economy. People spend way too much time looking at lagging indicators. In other words, they're looking at results that they cannot change. And not only that, oftentimes they're looking at results that they personally have no control over. Example in point. Our utility company raised the supply rates this summer by 50%. We had no control, zero control over that. So we chose to use leading indicators, which we'll talk about in just a second, in order to change the lagging indicator, which was the rising utility bill.
You might think of lagging indicators as the history of your financial situation. But the leading indicator, those are things that you can change. Those are indicators that are coming up in your future. That's what we're really going to look at.
Leading indicators. These are the habits. These are what you are personally going to do to change the lagging indicators. All right, let's go back to our examples. We had the utility bill. We got the notice from the utility company said, oh, by the way, this summer, 50% more, you're very welcome. That's a lagging indicator. We can't change it.
No, can't
so
change
we
that.
looked at leading indicators. What are the habits that we were willing to change in order to make certain that we didn't pay more for our utility bills this summer? What else can we talk about in terms of leading indicators? So we talked about spending $500 a month on eating out. What can you personally do that's going to keep that from happening? Well, you can bulk cook. You can make sure that dinner is available in the refrigerator or in the freezer. You can have a bunch of easy to cook meals that are ready to go in 30 minutes or less when you get home from work. You can make sure that you are packing your lunch and taking your lunch to work so that when your coworkers come up to you and say, hey, you want to join us over there at Taco Bell? You go, no, I already brought Taco Bell from home for a quarter of the price that you're going to pay going out to Taco Bell this afternoon. You already think ahead and you have it taken care of. How many of those leading indicators can you line up? And we are going to give you a super, and I do mean super simple formula that we use to make sure that we are tracking and using leading indicators without getting overwhelmed by them.
Here's the bottom line. If you control your habits, you're going to increase the possibility that you're going to meet your goals.
Now, if this is clicking, tell us in the comments section, it's clicking. I understand what you're saying. And make sure that you give this video a thumbs up for us, will you? Make sure you're subscribed to Under the Median. But this is maybe the first time you actually thought about your goals this way. We've got some help for you. I have a set of free goal trackers. And those goal trackers are going to help you to take the information we're giving you in this video and make practical application of it in your own life. And they're free. There's going to be a link in the video description.
Don't track everything. This is where people get hung up. They think they have to track everything in their budget in order to make this work. Well, that's too many items to look at. We track only 3 items at a time, just 3. We can really focus on 3 things a lot better than we can on, let's say, 40 things. So once you get those 3 things going, it's really easy to keep them on track and meet the goal for each one of them.
Here's how we do this. We call those 3 goals every week, by the way, the big 3. Because it sounds cool.
And they're big.
And they're big.
And they are big.
Well, actually, they're micro adjustments you're going to make every single week. But they're big because this has been a big way that we have figured out how to reach goals is by doing these 3 micro goals every single week. So call in the big 3. Call in whatever you want, but pick 3 goals every single week. Let us give you an example. Let's just say, for instance, let's go back to the utility bill boffo that we dealt with, all right?
Yeah.
We immediately said, what can we do is going to allow us to understand how our habits are affecting that bill at the end of the month. So we went back and we gathered hard data. Yeah, there's a time and a place for numbers, and this may very well be that time and that place where you understand what you've previously spent so that you can adapt what you're doing in order to affect what you're going to spend in the future. So this is a time when you might actually need to get some of those numbers handy and write them down. Then we said, how can we track what we're doing? I know, we'll create a super simple sheet of paper and we'll call it an energy diary. And we're going to put that diary where everybody can see it. You turn on an electric appliance. You're going to write down the date, the time, the electric appliance, how long you use that appliance. That gives us, once again, more numbers. Then we made sure we were signed up to, and so we're at habit number 3, right? 3 things in 1 week. This wasn't hard to do. Gather information from past bills. Make sure that we have a way to track what we're doing right now that is impacting our energy usage. And then the third thing was to make sure that we are looking at the information that our energy company provides to us online on our online account so that we can look at our energy diary and match it up to that grid that our utility company gives us so we can see, oh yeah, when we turn on the electric oven, it triples our electric usage for the time that it's on. What else can we do? You're going to look at it at the end of the week and say, first of all, did I follow through? Did I do what I said I was going to do? Because writing goals down doesn't count unless you do them, unless you follow through.
Yeah.
So you're going to plan, you're going to implement, and then you're going to evaluate.
Exactly.
Did those big 3 goals, did they change? Did they lower the amount that we were using energy? If they didn't, what else can I do next week that's going to help lower that amount? If you follow this pattern over and over and over again for each of your monetary goals, each of your financial goals, it's going to help you to move the needle far faster and with a whole lot less anxiety and frustration associated with those goals.
I want to make sure that you understand too, when we filled out our energy diary, we didn't write everything we turned on. If we turned on a little LED light, we didn't worry about that. Some of our lights only use about 3 watts, so some of them are really low. They're not going to impact that budget very much. We only wrote down when we turned on the microwave oven or the toaster oven or a toaster, something that uses a lot of power in maybe a short period of time so that we could compare that with the results from our company to know exactly what they were charging us for that energy and exactly how much energy we were using. Then we could go about a plan to reduce the energy. That was the whole idea, to write all that down, was to figure out a way to cut back on what we were doing so that we could lower that bill. That's what we had control over.
And that's what you have to do, is set that goal in such a way you know exactly what the benchmarks are.
Yes.
So we knew that we wanted to lower our energy usage and lower our summer utility bills, but we applied it too. We want to lower our usage by at least 20% when we want to reduce our bills by 10%. Now, we got really, really close at the end of that
Very
90
close.
days to reaching those goals. Super duper close. But you need to make sure that you know what the end goal is you have in mind. Because otherwise, it's like driving. I get to do a driving analogy. Looking only at your rear view mirror and trying to drive forward. Because if you're looking in the rear view mirror, you only know what happened last month. You don't know what's happening this month. So you'll never, ever get to your destination. Thank you. That's one for me. One car analogy, just especially for me. Now, we mentioned that utility goal, and we mentioned that it was a 90-day goal for us. But now you're like, oh, please, we're talking about doing this for 1 week or 1 month, 90 days. That seems like a really, really long period of time. But there are methods that you can use in conjunction with what we just showed you. They're going to help you to stick with that 90-day challenge and win at that challenge. We did a whole video on it. That video right over there.